The other room. I moved into the apartment in early October. The rent was cheap, suspiciously cheap for the city, but I chalked it up to luck. The place wasn't much, a 2-bedroom in a crumbling old building with creaky pipes and stained ceilings, but I was just glad to have a roof over my head. My roommate, Jenna, was already living there. She was quiet, maybe a little too quiet. Barely spoke beyond a few words here and there. I figured she was just introverted, or maybe didn't like me. Either way, we kept to ourselves, and I didn't mind. She mostly stayed in her room, kept the door locked. I assumed she worked nights or something because I never saw her come or go. After about a week, I started noticing weird things. Food would go missing, not a lot, just little things like a banana or a yogurt cup. Once, I found the bathroom mirror fogged up, and someone had written, "You saw me," in the steam. I lived alone for years before this, so I didn't spook easily. I assumed it was Jenna playing some dumb joke. One night, I woke up around 3 a.m. to the sound of whispering. I thought it was the TV, but it was too soft, too personal. I got out of bed and crept toward Jenna's room, thinking maybe she was on a call. Her door was cracked open, just slightly. I peeked inside. The room was empty. Not just empty, bare. No bed, no furniture, nothing. Just an old mildewed carpet and 4 walls. It looked abandoned, like no one had lived there for years. I stepped back in shock and something cold brushed past my shoulder. I turned. No one. The next day, I called the landlord. I told him I wanted to break the lease. I said my roommate was creeping me out. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "You mean Jenna?" he finally said. "Yeah," I said. She's weird. She never talks. Her room is totally empty. I don't know what game she's playing, but..." "You met her?" His voice was hoarse now. "Of course I met her. She was here." Another silence. Then, "That's not possible. Jenna was the last tenant. She died in that apartment 6 months ago. Suicide. We haven't found anyone willing to take the second room until you." I hung up. I didn't even pack. I just grabbed my keys and ran. That night, I stayed at a friend's. Around 2:58 a.m., my phone buzzed. I had a text. No name. Just a number I didn't recognize. "You saw me." She wasn't on the lease. I found her ad on Craigslist. "Room available. Quiet building. Must love cats." It was cheap. Too cheap for the location. But I was desperate. Her name was Tessa. She met me at the door, pale and soft-spoken. Pretty, in a ghostly kind of way. Her dark hair hung in her face, and she kept glancing down the hallway like she was waiting for someone, or avoiding something. Her cat, Milo, was skittish. He wouldn't go near me, but he'd stare. All night, sometimes, from the hallway. Eyes like little pale moons in the dark. Tessa was strange. She locked her bedroom door every time she left, even if she was just showering. And I'd hear her talking when she was alone. Not on the phone, just talking, low and tense, like she was arguing with someone. Once I heard her say, "You promised not to come out while they're here." I thought she was maybe schizophrenic or had trauma, so I didn't press. Then things got worse. I'd wake up to footsteps outside my room. Heavy ones, not like hers. These were slower. Male, maybe. Once I opened the door to catch whoever it was, but the hallway was empty. Just Milo, sitting like a statue. Then there was the humming. 3:17 a.m. every night. This low, droning hum, like someone trying to remember a lullaby they hadn't heard in years. Sometimes I'd hear it right outside my door. I tried asking Tessa about it. She stared at me for a long time and said, "It helps him sleep." That night, I locked my door. First time. Didn't matter. At 3:17, I woke up to the humming inside my room. Not from outside, not from the hall. It was in the fucking room. I froze, too scared to move. I couldn't see anything in the dark, but I heard breathing, ragged and close, like someone was crouched next to the bed. I stayed still for what felt like hours until light crept through the curtains. When I turned on the lamp, nothing, but my closet door was open. I never leave it open. I confronted Tessa the next morning. I'd had enough. "You need to tell me what's going on," I said. "Who else is in this apartment?" She didn't answer at first, just looked down at Milo, petting him like a child with a favorite stuffed toy. Finally, she whispered, "I told him to leave you alone. He doesn't like being ignored." I moved out that day. A week later, I passed the building with a friend. She pointed up at the windows and said, "Weird. That place has been empty for years." I laughed. "No, I just lived there." She blinked. "You couldn't have. That unit's been sealed off." There was a fire. Some girl locked herself in her room with her cat. They say no one ever found the body. I don't laugh much anymore. And sometimes at 3:17 a.m., I still wake up to the sound of humming. The mirror room. I found the apartment on a rental forum. It was barely furnished, the walls were thin, and the bathroom leaked like it was trying to drown itself. But it was cheap, and I needed cheap. My roommate's name was Kara. She wasn't around when I moved in, just left a note on the counter. "Welcome. I'm in and out a lot, but make yourself at home. Just please don't go into the room at the end of the hall. Thanks." I assumed it was storage. Everyone has their weird quirks, so I let it go. The first night I heard a sound like furniture dragging. I got up, thinking Kara had come home and was rearranging stuff. But when I looked, the lights were off and her bedroom door was shut. The sound was coming from the room at the end of the hall. I pressed my ear to the door. Silence. Then, just as I turned to walk away, I heard something tap against the door from the other side. Not a knock, just tap, tap, tap. I didn't sleep much. A few days later, Kara finally showed up. I caught her in the kitchen, pale and twitchy. Her hoodie was on backwards and she had what looked like bruises on her wrists. "You're Kara?" I asked cautiously. "Yeah," she said, smiling, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Hey, just remember what I said. Don't open that door." I nodded, but I must have hesitated because her face changed. The smile dropped. "You didn't go in there, did you?" "No," I lied. Something about the way she was staring at me, like she wasn't sure if I was real. Or maybe she wasn't. That night, I woke up to the sound of whispering, not muffled like a dream, but right outside my bedroom door. Two voices, Kara and someone else. One high and nervous, the other low and barely human. I opened the door. Nobody was there. I walked toward the end of the hall. The forbidden door was slightly open. I should have turned around, I know that now. I pushed the door open slowly. The room was filled with mirrors, wall to wall, different sizes and frames, some cracked, some spotless. None of them showed my reflection. Instead, they all showed Kara sitting in a chair in the middle of the room, smiling at me. But the room was empty. Then her voice from behind me. "I told you not to open it." I spun around. She was there, but she wasn't her. Her eyes were pitch black and her mouth opened far too wide. The last thing I remember was her touching my forehead, whispering, "There's always room for one more." I woke up the next morning in my bed. Sunlight was streaming in. No sign of the mirrors, no sign of Kara. She was gone. But now, every time I look into a mirror, I see that room behind me, waiting, and her chair is empty. Just once, I saw someone else sitting in it. It was me.